Hey guys, welcome to Vegas Nation. Vinny Bonsignore, beat writer for the Las Vegas Journal and Vegas News. I'm here to take questions now. I know you got a lot of them on Twitter, but also at VegasNation.com after the debacle that happened in Atlanta on Sunday. I was there. It was as ugly in person as it was on television, and a major wake-up call for the Raiders, I think. 5 games left to play, very little margin of error from this point forward. If they want to make the playoffs, they got to start acting like a playoff team, and that didn't happen last week. And it wasn't just on Sunday. Talking to Derek Carr and Alec Ingold, the Raiders fullback, what happened on Sunday was the result of what didn't happen Monday through Saturday. The Raiders just, for whatever reason, lacked sharpness and focus in practice in the days leading up to the game. And it might sound like a cliche, but what you do Monday through Saturday typically determines what the result is going to be on Sunday. And we saw what happened on Sunday. And that's a direct reflection of how the Raiders went about their business Monday through Saturday. I think lesson learned. I know Derek Carr alluded to it, and talking to Alec Ingold, he's really interested to see if the Raiders do come correct this week, especially with the New York Jets, cold weather conditions in New York. The Raiders need to respond, or else their season is going to start really kind of suffering as a result. So we'll see. All right, let's get to the questions. Gilberto Carrera wants to know, why was a flag thrown if a defender was blocked into the kicker? Gilberto, I'm with you actually. And you're referring to the the penalty where Dalen, the Raiders, reserve safety, Dalen Levitt was what looked to be blocked into rolling into the kicker, the Falcons kicker, on a missed field goal, and Dalen got called for roughing the kicker. At the very most, I thought that should have been maybe running into the kicker or making contact with the kicker, which I believe is a 5-yard penalty. I'd have to go back to look to see if that would have resulted in a first down, but it certainly didn't appear to me like it was roughing the kicker. I've seen roughing the kicker, and you go blasting into the kicker, and you deserve a penalty for it. I didn't think that they deserved the roughing the penalty, kicker penalty, which I think was a 10 or 15 penalty, and first down. The Falcons ended up scoring a touchdown. Really changed the complexion right there at that point in the game. Let's see. Why was Jacobs upright on the 4th down attempt? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I guess if it wasn't, you're talking about the run that Josh made on 4th and 2, I think it was. They didn't make it, obviously. I guess I have to look back at the tape. If he was still upright, and if you're saying that he wasn't, taken to the ground, why did that happen? Just kind of recollecting if that was the case, and that's what Gilberto's asking. A lot of times the referees will blow the whistle if forward progress is stopped. They're basically doing that to protect everybody. Don't quite remember everything. I just remember that the Raiders didn't get the 2 yards needed, and as a result, they turned the ball over to the Falcons. Why was DC checking down on man coverage? Well, I'll tell you this, being there and watching the game, and from our vantage point, we were in the back of the end zone, so we could see everything that was in front of us. And in a lot of situations, Derek and the offense were working, so we had a behind the quarterback view. And I'll just say this: Carr was under duress the entire game. It took every bit of his quickness to get rid of the ball before he was hit or taken a sack, or as we saw so many times, with the fumbles, there just wasn't a lot of time to throw the ball. So I don't think it was that he wanted to just check down. I think that he understood that I got to get rid of the ball really quickly because there's not a lot of room to operate right now. To me, the offensive line for really the first time this year just got whipped up front, and as a result, they just didn't have a lot of time, or Derek Carr didn't have a lot of time to throw. We've seen him plenty of times throw the ball deep. He's averaging a career high right now on per yards per attempt. So he wasn't just checking down for the heck of it. He was checking down and getting rid of the ball because that's all he was almost able to do. And I put that squarely on the offensive line. So that is kind of what it is. Let's see, over on Twitter, Fahim Z, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Likewise, my brother. My question for you would be, what are the chances that the Raiders repeat last year? Also, as a fan, I'm very disappointed in the showing last week, and I'm afraid it will repeat this week. Will TB help solve some of the issues? TB being Trent Brown. I don't think Trent's going to play this week, but I think moving forward, if they can get it back for the last month, that will certainly help if he's healthy, obviously. Repeat. You know what? Talking to some players, there was a level of, I'm just going to say it, they were pissed off at what happened in Atlanta. And it wasn't just what happened in Atlanta. What happened in Atlanta was almost inevitable because the Raiders did not come correct during the week in practice, And, listen, at this level, guys know what it looks like. Guys know a good practice and a good week of preparation looks like. And this is a positive for the Raiders because they've kind of gotten to a point now in their rebuild, and not just talent-wise, but character-wise. They've gotten to a point where they have a real high standard for themselves during the work week, and it served them well. In a crazy year, they've basically been able, for the most part, to meet every challenge of a crazy year, and that's why they had the 6-4 record going into last week. But for whatever reason, they didn't live up to that standard during the week this week or last week. And so what happened on Sunday was a result of what didn't happen, during the week. So, and guys are mad about that. And guys are, I'm not going to say that they're pointing fingers or anything like that. And this was a team-wide, for whatever reason, slip in focus and sharpness and responsibility. And so if you're asking if I think it's going to repeat, I don't think so. And just the sense that I get talking to some guys, they want to make sure that they come correct this week, starting tomorrow when they report back to the building. But, at the same time, even guys that I've talked to are like, we'll see, we'll see if guys are ready to get back after it, this week and on Sunday against the New York Jets. So it makes for a very fascinating week and a very fascinating game. Dr. D wants to know, should the Raiders sit Josh Jacobs this week in an effort to have him healthy down the stretch? Likewise, if Trent Brown is healthy enough to play, even in a limited capacity this week against the Jets, should the team do it in an effort to get him into game shape? Josh Jacobs is going to me, it'll be just determined on how he feels. If he feels like the ankle's ready to go, knowing Josh Jacobs, and he's a tough guy, he'll be out there. Should they sit him? I think they only sit him if they really feel like he can't protect himself and be an asset to them. He is coming off what they're describing as an ankle sprain. So, tomorrow is going to be a big day for Josh Jacobs, whether he can practice or not, and point him in one direction or another as far as whether he's going to be able to play. If he can't, it's only going to be because that ankle isn't able to hold up. But I see what you're saying. Do you want to maybe sit him and just make sure he gets that extra week in order to, to be ready fully for the rest of the way? So we'll see. Trent Brown, I don't think he's going to play on Sunday, but, I guess, we could all be surprised if that happens. I think everything's pointing to him getting back on the field for the last 4 games of the season. And if that is the case, he's going to certainly help. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm gonna put Charles on blast. Charles at CMAD 2021. The only question I have after that garbage undisciplined game I watched, and he has a meme of Michael from The Office asking, "Why are you the way that you are?" I don't know, Charles. You want to elaborate on that? I'm putting a call out to at CMAD 2021, brother. Why? What am I? That's kind of That's kind of a question of, are you saying that, what is it? What's the point you're trying to make? So let's get after it, Charles. Come on, man. Don't just leave a question like that hanging. Be more expressive. Explain yourself. So I'm here. You know where to find me. All right, let's see what else we got here on Twitter. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Sorry. All right. Jeff at Jeff7343543. How's the offense rebounding after completely getting their bleep 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 kicked on Sunday? I don't know. We'll see. Here's what sucks about COVID-19. Typically, reporters like myself will go back to work on Wednesday when the building opens back up, get a chance to go into the locker room and, shoot the what with guys, work on your stories, take the temperature of where everybody is right now mentally. You can really tell a lot just about how like the energy level in a locker room. And then you go on the field and you see, are guys bouncing around, are they high energy or are they just kind of going through the motions? I've seen it all. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, we don't get that access because of COVID-19. So all we can do, just like you, is wait to see what happens on Sunday. And a lot of times, again, I reiterate this, what happens on Sunday is a result of what happens Monday through Saturday. So we're going to find out pretty quickly against the Jets whether the Raiders came correct during practice week. But also to reiterate and talking to some of the guys that I've talked to, bad taste in the mouth of what happened on Sunday, but even more than that, of what happened during the week in practice. They feel like there was a direct result to how they worked and connected in connection to how they played. And so in order to get squared away on Sunday against the Jets, they're going to have to get squared away on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday. So we'll see. Nini, or Nenny, it's NENIBT at RBT1982, says, Vinny, thanks for doing this. Oh, it's my pleasure. Do you think that this Raiders O-line can hang in there for the rest of the season? That's a great question. And, I give Tom Cable, the Raiders offensive line coach, John Gruden, obviously the head coach, and the players a lot of credit for doing what you just said, hanging in there, because it's been a tough season for this offensive line with no Trent Brown, Richie Incognito goes out. There's been 3 snaps this year where the Raiders' entire projected starting offensive line was on the field. 3 snaps. That's craziness. And so obviously they've had to make do without Trent Brown for most of the season. He played one full game, and then 3 plays of another game. So he's been a complete wash at right tackle. Richie Incognito played about 2 games and has been gone since then. Colton Miller has missed a couple of games, the left tackle. So you have all this changeover and patchwork and mix matching. You've had guards playing tackle. You've had, Sam Young started a couple of games at tackle and he couldn't go the rest of the way. And so you had to bring in Brandon Parker or move Denzel Good from guard, on and on and on and on. You've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. But they've been able to really, for the most part, hold their own. And I felt like last week, for whatever reason, it kind of came to a head. And I just think the offensive line got whipped last week. I'm sure they'd be the first to tell you that. So can they keep it together the rest of the season? Well, here's the answer to that. We'll see when and if Trent Brown comes back. But the reality is they kind of have to. There's no other alternative. If you don't, and they play like they played against the Falcons, it's going to be bad news the rest of the year. But if they get back in rhythm, get back to what they were doing previously, then I think they'll be okay. But I'm curious to find out, because they've been kind of holding it all together with duct tape to this point and done a pretty good job of it. But at some point, it was going to break a little bit or get overstretched, and that's what happened on Sunday. They need to get back to playing good football, though. Let's see. Mino, M-A-I-N-O at M-A-I-N-O-03 wants to know what happened to the O-line. Seemed like they totally changed out for different people. How confident are you it will return to 2020 Raiders grade this weekend? kind of reiterating what I just said, they've been holding it together with duct tape, doing a pretty darn good job with some young players out there and some reserves out there playing a lot of snaps. And usually at some point, you're going to get exposed a little bit. That looked like that happened on Sunday. There could have been a little bit of lack of focus, but they got their lunches eaten on Sunday, and it led to a lot of bad things, including a lot of turnovers. They need to get it in order. I think the talent is there. They just need to get reset, refocused, and come out with a better week of work during the week leading up to the game, and then they got to perform like they have been. It's going to be critical that they do. Raiders fan at Carl Weezer with a bunch of Z's and R's. Hey, Vinny, probably a question you're tired of hearing, but how's things looking for Mariota? Does it look like he'll ever be suited up, or is it too much to salvage at this point? Okay, two ways of looking at this. You don't want to see Marcus Mariota, right? Let's face it. You want Derek Carr to play this season completely healthy, not have to go back to your backup, right? So I know a lot of fans like, you paid $7 million plus, for a backup. Well, it's money well spent if you for peace of mind, and B, should something happen to Carr, wouldn't you rather have Marcus Mariota than not having him? So it's one of those situations where you're going to find out how important Marcus Mariota only if Derek Carr goes down, and you don't want that to happen, and thus far it hasn't happened. So I think because Derek has been so durable this year, and because Marcus Mariota did suffer a setback in training camp, and there wasn't a whole lot of offseason to work with, he was, he started off, behind, and then even more so when he got hurt. So as a result of that, Nate Peterman is playing pretty well, and I think the Raiders believe on a one-game basis, if something were to happen to Derek Carr in the game, Nate Peterman can come in there and accord himself and handle himself pretty well. And as a result of that, the roster spot that Marcus Mariota would be taking, that third spot, is probably better served going to someone else rather than the third quarterback. However, if something were to happen to Derek Carr, you'd see Marcus Mariota in there, and probably if it was a long-term situation for Carr, playing at some point. Let's see what else we got. Keep the questions coming, obviously. Okay. Let's see what else we got over here. It's a tough time right now, guys, with what happened. But sometimes you learn a lesson, and if you learn it and you heed it, you come back stronger. And I'm really fascinated to find out if that's exactly what the Raiders do or not. You know what I'm saying? We're going to find out pretty darn quickly. Let's see. All I got for right now. Go back to Twitter here. Hey, it looks like that's the questions for this week. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. I'm not sure if it's me for next week, but one of us. One of the Vegas Nation Raider coverage people will be on this. We will see you next week. Thanks for the questions.